Nintendo has to get this one right, because when you sell 61 million copies of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, there is a lot of eyeballs on how you are going to follow up the mass market success that was that game. Yes, it saw some additional units moved because it was the pack-in game time and time again with new Nintendo Switch consoles during the holiday season, but it continues to rank high on the charts month in and month out. And if you want to know the origin of this game and when it originally launched, it was on the Wii U on May 29th of 2014. So well over 10 years have passed since Nintendo has truly created a brand new from the ground up Mario Kart game. We're not counting tour or live circuit here, and the follow-up to this game will be massive and massive for Nintendo. And in today's video, I want to talk about what are some of the levers that Nintendo can pull to truly put this thing over the top and make Mario Kart 9 or 10 or Crossroads, maybe it just has an entirely different name, Nintendo Kart if you will, whatever they end up calling it, what will put it over the top and separate it from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and potentially repeat, if not surpass, the success that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has seen. So we're going to get on the same page with all of that. Before we do, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification to join Sunbro Nation if you're new here. And we have to first talk about, from a content perspective, if Nintendo really wants to try to deliver more value to the successor to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, what they have to do here, because they definitely built themselves a tall hill to climb with over 50 playable characters and 96 tracks as part of Mario Kart 8. After all the DLC is said and done, that is what Nintendo is looking at, but you shouldn't expect all of those tracks day one on the next Mario Kart, because more than likely Nintendo will come out with a ton of brand new tracks, incorporate some of their classics, and potentially even put in a giant portion of those 96 tracks. But I would also expect them to potentially bring ones over from the past that were not as part of the booster course waves from this most recent DLC, and I could actually see them drip feeding out the schedule for DLC for this new game, because they know that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe lasted the entire life cycle of the Nintendo Switch, and I think they will want to have almost a games as a service type of roadmap, although they will still let you purchase these things individually and release them in waves, just how they did for the booster course pass with this next Mario Kart. And even if the total tracks don't surpass 96, which I am hopeful they will, because I do think this should be the Mario Kart Ultimate game, if you will, get that ultimate treatment like from the Smash Bros series, but in Mario Kart, and we'll dive into that more in a second. I still think that if the levels are quality and Nintendo comes up with some very cool gameplay mechanics and new ideas, different than just the gravity bend features with your wheels being able to turn sideways and stick to the tracks that go upside down, and then you're also traversing through water and things, expand that out even further, take us into space, have different style physics for different tracks, and get really wacky and creative with it. I think Nintendo can execute on that and make it fun and competitive all throughout, and I am personally just excited to see what kind of new ideas they come up with. But I will definitely be eagerly awaiting what kind of brand new tracks, not just recycled and remastered ones, we have to look forward to when this next gen Mario Kart game does indeed launch. Now, as I mentioned, the ultimate treatment is another lever I think Nintendo can pull to really put this next gen Mario Kart game over the top, and that means from a character and track perspective, have another level of Nintendo franchise support in terms of what's there. Not just DK and Zelda and Animal Crossing and Splatoon characters like we saw this time, but give us a much broader scope of Nintendo franchises. Let's have Samus Aran behind the wheel of her own kart this time. Let's get some crazy Metroid themed tracks. Let's get F-Zero involved, Star Fox, some Pokemon characters, literally open up all of the possibilities almost to a Smash Bros level. I don't think Nintendo will open it up to third-party stuff, like we're probably never going to have Sora in a Mario Kart game, but never say never with Nintendo. But at least just broadening out to the Nintendo IP, and you might argue at that point it should be called Nintendo Kart, but I think even if that is the treatment we see this time around, it will be called Mario Kart Ultimate, or it will be called Mario Kart something, but it will retain that Mario Kart name just for the franchise recognizability factor at this point. But when you stop and think about the plethora of franchises that Nintendo can pull inspiration from in their tracks, and with the characters that you play as, the possibilities are endless, and I think this is another thing that would put this next Mario Kart game over the top for fans that are waiting. Now from there is a mode that I would love to see supported in this Mario Kart game, and also one that I think would be a great fit if Nintendo does broaden the roster and really opens up the door to all their IPs, because you will have so many playable characters, and that is the inclusion of a Double Dash mode. You don't have to go make a Double Dash sequel and call it Double Dash 2, but you could give us the option to play through all of these existing stages with 2 characters and have that strategic item switching mechanic in play, which I absolutely love from the GameCube era, and the combination of which character you pick gets a certain special item that is tied to them, and because of that you might want to have some very unlikely teams riding together. That is a really cool, fun, new way to reinvigorate the series, and again, make it optional. You can play Grand Prix in standard mode with just your one racer, or you could also play Grand Prix in Double Dash mode, and that should go for all of the multiplayer modes as well. Now, on the subject of gameplay modes, I think Nintendo should really build out their battle mode system and incorporate some really unique new multiplayer gameplay ideas. I loved Renegade Roundup in Mario Kart 8, like the cops and robbers style gameplay I thought was awesome. Let's have some King of the Hill style gameplay, some protect a certain portion of the track. I also think with the rise of online battle royale multiplayer modes, it would be genius for Nintendo to have some kind of mega Grand Prix race online where it's you and 120 plus other players, but each round you eliminate the bottom 10 and you get through all the way until it is just you and potentially one other racer at the end, or at least maybe your final round of 8 racers, but you could win the ultimate cup out of the 120 plus. I think that would be a really cool way to do it, and if you get eliminated, you just have to try to enter another one and restart from scratch, or you could of course continue to spectate in the current online match you are in. But that would be a really cool addition, and I think Nintendo could go all out with the online features and really build out a leaderboard system as well, not only for how many wins you have in something like a battle royale mode like that, but your best time on every track and your finish time compared to the best out there in the globe on any given track at any time. And Nintendo could hold all types of different time challenges around that, where once a week they're having a new tournament with the new winner crowned. Like, they can get really creative and put a lot more into the online mode than is even there today with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I'm confident that with the user base they have for 8 Deluxe, they know that they should do that to keep players engaged throughout the long haul of the life cycle of this next Mario Kart game. Now, the last lever I think Nintendo can pull, and this will be harnessing the next-gen power of their successor console to the Switch, is to spare no expense in the visual department for this game. This should definitely have the largest budget of any Nintendo game so far, and the attention to detail and the visual fidelity should be taken to an all-time high with the next Mario Kart game. You don't have to do ultra realistic looking graphics, because of course that doesn't necessarily fit with the visual style of Mario characters, but you can definitely lean into lighting effects, reflections, ray tracing, smooth frame rate and performance prioritized first always in a racing game, 60 frames per second plus refresh rate obviously, but definitely do the smaller things and the attention to detail on the tracks and on all of the effects to make you feel like you are going as fast as possible when you are racing, and to make collisions feel very real when they happen with other players. I think they could take the entire visual presentation part of Mario Kart to another level with their next gen game, and I think that they will this time around because of the success of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And all of that to say, because of the juggernaut of a franchise that this has now become, I truly believe us Nintendo and Mario Kart fans are around the corner from having the best edition yet on the next gen Nintendo hardware. So let me know in the comments down below what you hope we see from the next gen Mario Kart. What do you think it's going to be called? Do you think Nintendo should go in the direction of something like a Mario Kart Ultimate, where it has a much broader roster and a ton of different tracks? Do you like any of the online mode ideas, or even something like a Double Dash mode being included? And what features that I did not talk about in this video would you most hope to see in this next Mario Kart game that Nintendo has effectively had well over 10 years at this point in time to craft? So make sure you share all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below before you leave, regardless if we agree or disagree. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. And with that, I've been Sunbro, you've been Nation. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.